Hello, this is JB with this week's real estate report. I'll try and do this once a week for you to post to my Facebook page. And certainly if you have any comments or questions that it raises, feel free to call me at 480-233-1668 and I will discuss it with you further. Well, this week I want to thank Mark Lawyers Title, Sarah Perkins at Mark Lawyers Title for providing me this market report that I'm using some of the data from it. And I have this data for all the major city, all the locations in Arizona. I'm just going to use Mesa as an example because Farnsworth Realty, we're located in Mesa. And but certainly if you need Chandler or Gilbert or Tempe, I'll be happy to give you that information. This week, last week, I guess you would say, in Mesa, the median list price of a home was $424,990. The median price per square foot was $190. The median days on the market was 67 days. There are 391 homes for sale in Mesa, Arizona. And the most expensive is $3,985,000. The least expensive is $52,000. That does not include condos. One other thing before I go to condos, the market action index, which is a gauge, kind of like an old-fashioned speedometer on an old car, 0 to 100 is the gauge. Far right on the half circle gauge is 0. On the far left, on the far right is 100, and anything over 30 gauge, which is about the 10 o'clock position on that dial, anything over 30 is a seller's market. Anything less than 30 is a buyer's market. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, it means that if it's a buyer's market, the buyers can make offers, lowball offers, and put pressure on sellers to reduce the price of their homes because there's too many homes on the market and not enough buyers. But right now we're in an opposite situation. We're in a seller's market. The sellers, there's a shortage of houses. We're down about a half from last year. There's a shortage, so that creates a situation where the seller is not willing to offer very many, if any at all, concessions on the price or things. Sometimes is, I'll buy your house, but I want you to do blah, blah, blah in order for me to buy it. And the sellers can refuse to do that because there's just so many people looking for a house that they don't have to worry about it. If they don't want to buy it, somebody else a couple of days later or a week later will buy it. And that's kind of the attitude in a seller's market. This is a pretty high seller's market too, at 70 on a scale to 0 to 100 for it to be 70, where anything over 30 is a seller's market. So part of that might be COVID-19 because our homes are a source of security when times make us feel insecure, and so people don't want to be moving right now because that's part of their security blanket, and it makes perfect sense. But other people, they need to move. They may be coming in, being relocated because of their job, or they've got a bigger family and they're bursting at the seams at their house, and all kinds of things like that they need to buy. And so there's plenty of buyers. The people who typically buy the most homes, are people in the older age brackets, and they have not been affected income-wise as much as the people in their 20s and 30s who have a higher percentage of them have service-related jobs where restaurants have closed and such things. So that affects some of it too. Just the fact that the bulk of the buyers of homes have not been affected financially. First-time buyers are hit pretty hard. So that's the situation with Mesa on houses. Now let's take a look at condos. Click on condos. Okay, condos. The median list price of a condo in Mesa this last week was $219,000. Median price per square foot is $176. The median days on the market is 26. Did you notice that? Houses take about 2 months to turn over. Condos are going at a little less than a month. Let's see. Inventory of condos right now in Mesa is 77. The most expensive is $675,000. The least expensive is $108,000. Rent. The average rent of condos is median rent of condos is $1,215. I didn't mention a while ago the median rent of houses is $1,825. Rentals are scarce in Mesa, everywhere, houses in particular, because there aren't as many, there just aren't as much on the market. So this drives up the price. And I would say to people who are afraid to buy a house that yes, there are risks involved in buying a house. You could lose your income and not be able to make the payments and be evicted, foreclosed on. But the same thing can happen in a rental situation. If you lose your house, you probably can't afford to pay. If you lose your job, you probably can't afford to pay your mortgage, but you probably couldn't afford to pay your rent either. So whatever way, you're going to be in a bad situation. The rentals go up in price with inflation. A lot of us, this is a personal opinion thing, but I've read a lot of business articles about it. The only way the government can service this massive $30 trillion in debt we're headed towards is to allow inflation, massive amounts of inflation, that will devalue that $30 trillion. If we have 100% inflation in the next 2 years, that would make the effective cost of that $30 trillion as if it were $15 trillion were it not for inflation. And of course, inflation just really hurts people who are living on their investments and savings, because it deflates the value, increases the dollar numbers. Well, it doesn't increase their values in numbers that much, but it just devalues their spending power and could wipe out their savings. For people that are working, hopefully your income goes up as inflation goes up, but it's very damaging. But it does have the effect of making home ownership much more desirable than renting, because your mortgage payment itself, payment and the interest, if you're on a fixed rate, is not going to go up. Maybe your taxes and your real estate taxes and your insurance will go up, but the other part of it won't. So while your renters, you'll leave the renters behind in the dust on value of cost of living. So you got to be careful on that stuff. Consult with your financial experts, but most people agree that home ownership is the way to go to get the most out of your life, because of tax write-offs on the interest rate. Used to be, I can remember back when I was a kid, back when I was in my early 20s, you could write off your interest rate on your credit cards. You could your auto loan, the interest rate was deductible. And today, about the only thing left for a lot of people like myself is your interest rates on your real estate. So there's just a lot of advantages. I would work very hard if I were you, setting a goal of getting a house and then disciplining yourself. Next time you go to buy something, say, now, I really need to get a house. Do I really need this? Maybe I could go to the thrift store and buy a used version of it, or go online to eBay and buy a used version of it. Be real careful with your money and start saving it. Start working on making sure you optimize your credit score, so that when you get ready to see the house of your dreams, hopefully with me at your side, that we can get you into it in 4 or 5 weeks. Okay? All right, anything else I want to discuss today? Let's see. I covered Mesa. I think that's about it. Okay, so have a nice week. I'll try and do this every week. I'll erase the previous week's video, and I'll be talking to you next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.